I am meeting with four lovely ladies and Dave Smith, who are, between them all, the stars of and the director of Cast's latest production, the Savannah Sipping Society, coming to you from what is now their own theatre, Rah. And that will be from Friday to Sunday, the 8th to 10th of March. And if you want to come back again for the second week of their show, that'll be from Thursday to Saturday, the 14th to the 16th of March. Dave, this is not your first rodeo, is it?
Absolutely not.
Indeed, it's not a rodeo at all.
No, it's not.
What made you choose this play this time?
That's a long story, which I will not get into, but suffice it to say that it was actually driven by the actresses themselves. There was a thought that they wanted to do a play together, and so they decided on this one. As it happened, they all had to audition for it. Don't think that we precast the show, but they all auditioned and they did make it, so it's great. That's basically how we decided on the play.
And I think it's worthy of note to tell our listeners who the playwrights are, because this is a group of three playwriters who are much loved by Bay City audiences, I believe.
I wish I knew all their first names, so I can't spout those off, but it's Jones, Wooten, and Hope. And they have written a few of the plays that we've directed here at Cast, and it was Double Wide Texas and The Red Velvet Cake War. All Southern comedies and all very loved.
Exactly, indeed. I was very impressed by the way, not only that it was performed and presented in the past, but by the way the writers managed to capture the essence of life in the South without being disrespectful. It was a very light, delicate touch.
It wasn't a far reach, being that we are all from the South.
Most of us. Speak for yourself. So, Dave, tell us about the four lovely ladies that we have with us here this evening.
Now, sir, on my left is Stacy Steiner, and she's playing Dot in the play.
Hello.
Then we have Dixie Frazier, who is playing Jinx.
Hey, y'all.
Katie Brown, and
Howdy.
she is playing Marla Faye. And Jeannie Thomas, and she is playing Randa Covington.
Well, it's just a pleasure to meet you.
Now, my goodness, Jenny, I don't think you were sounding quite like that only a few minutes before.
Oh, I'm sorry. I might have just jumped the gun a little bit. Hi, I'm Jenny.
Are you all going to be speaking in slightly exaggerated accents for the play?
Greatly exaggerated accents in the play.
I like to believe mine's exaggerated, but I think some people would argue.
Dave, did you say that the play was actually the choice of your four ladies rather than...
Two of the four, yes.
Oh, okay, so you knew the play already. Which two?
Marla Faye and Jinx.
Katie and Dixie.
Katie and Dixie.
Okay.
I don't know that they knew the play exactly, but they knew that they wanted to be in a play together, and so this is the play that they chose.
Yeah,
There were a few choices.
Yeah, Katie and I were both in mixed couples together, and we were in it with, Zainab as the director, and we really wanted just the chance to act together again because we really just enjoyed each other, and we all vibed on stage, off stage, and we really got along. It felt like our styles fit well together, and we were just really excited to do another project.
Dixie, you're a real chameleon because I didn't recognize you from when I saw you in Mixed Couples. You look totally different. I did recognize Katie, but not you, so I'm impressed.
Alberto was certainly one of a kind.
And
So-
I was wearing a wig.
You were grabbing for the microphone there? Oh, how wonderful. Have you, all four of you, been in previous plays as well? No.
No, this is my first time to participate in a production with Cast. I'm actually just new to the area, so I became aware of it through friends that this was here. Came to one of the productions, loved it. So when I saw that there was going to be an audition for the new season, I read about this and I thought, gosh, this sounds like something I want to get involved in. So here I am.
Absolutely. But I get the impression from the way you phrased that you've been in dramatics before, you've been in other productions elsewhere.
Yeah, I just moved down here from Dallas a couple of years ago, and in Dallas I was participated in some amateur productions and plays in that area. Probably not anything that anyone's ever heard of. It didn't put my name on Broadway, if that's what you mean.
Well, I don't know if Jones, Hope and Wooten plays have made it all the way up to Dallas either.
No, probably would not do very well, or at least as well as they do down here.
Yeah. Ladies, how do you find this particular production? because it must be unusual with no men in it at all, just the four of you.
Refreshing.
Hey, I'm sitting right here.
Do you find it a different gestalt, or I don't know what the acting term is, for not having any men in the production at all?
I think there's great camaraderie. These ladies are so sweet and supportive and encouraging, and we've had a blast. We've gotten to know each other. Stacy and I are sort of newer to the group. We just feel like they've just welcomed us with open arms, and we are so excited to share this with audiences. We think they're going to enjoy it as much as we have.
And I think it's translated. We've been so pleasantly surprised as a group of four, plus Darv.
Yes,
on
plus Darv.
how this is translated onto stage, because the story is a group of four women who start out strangers and they become a family. And then I feel like the same thing is happening backstage as well, because other than Katie, I'd met Jenny, but only in a hi, nice to meet you sort of way before. And of course, I've never met Dot, Stacy. But I think on stage with no men and it being a female-only group, you get more honesty and vulnerability. When you have different genders mixed together, even if you don't mean to, you sort of may not be 100% open of yourself. There may be parts you block off or parts you change or airs you put on. And it's like we don't have to do that. You are invited to our 2-hour-long slumber party.
I guess I also have to turn about, ask Darv, what is it like?
He doesn't get to talk.
Poor Darv.
Yeah, poor Darv. So
How much time do you have? Because I got lots of stories.
Should we leave?
So you've got four
Don't you dare.
outgoing women here. How do you possibly add some value yourself?
Basically, I'm just watching. I just sit back and watch, and they direct themselves. That's how it goes every day.
He's not lying.
But
No.
he definitely has no issue stepping in and guiding us.
I let them know from the get-go that I wasn't going to hold back. I said, y'all want me to be honest? And they're like, yes. And so I've been brutally honest with them, and they take it
Brutally.
very well, very well.
Is he telling the truth?
You can tell that he has been married a while, because once we're done with the scene, he sits there and he allows us all to chitter and do our own critiques and talk to each other and over each other. And he watches until we've run ourselves down. And then he says, okay, now for my critiques.
What do you think the audience will enjoy the most about this play? As it seems, I just felt that it was not something, well, we'll have to wait and see, but it didn't seem to lend itself as much to the obvious situational comedy as the other Jones Hope Wooten plays that you've put on before.
Growth. I think it's at the start and through it a charming, funny play, lots of one-offs, lots of good laughs, camaraderie, but you watch these four women each learn to be vulnerable, not just with each other, but with themselves in ways maybe they haven't been before. And so a lot of things come out. And so I think there's a lot of character growth, and that really adds so much depth, and I think the audiences will be surprised.
I think for me, what's refreshing about this play is that it's not a production that has a villain. There's four women there. Each one of them are different stages of their lives. And I think because the cast is so diverse, the characters are so diverse, everyone in the audience is going to be able to find someone that they relate to, someone that they are going to root for. And I really feel like they're going to feel the characters' chemistry, and they're going to get swept up in the story. And I think they're going to walk out feeling really good about the life that these women have chosen.
Definitely a feel-good comedy.
Oh, okay, so there's still plenty of laughs in it,
Yes.
and Southern-style laughs.
Yes.
If there's
Chicken
one thing
fried.
that I would like everyone to get out of this show is that you're coming for a comedy, but you're going to leave with more of a sense of feeling of the growth of the people in the play than you are the jokes. The jokes are funny, and they stand on their own, and they're great, but it's the story. It's the story, it's the drama that's involved that people really like.
Does it have an uplifting, upbeat, happy sort of ending, or do they all Oh, I don't know what.
I'm not sure that we should give that away.
Well, no, don't tell me who
But
did
we
it.
can only hope.
They might leave crying, but it will be tears of joy. So,
I will say, come for the Southern comedy, but stay for the costumes. And we definitely can't speak more on that, but it'll be worth it.
Well, that does sound intriguing. What else, Mr. Director Darv Smith, do you want to share with our listeners?
wow. Nothing off the top of my head. My granddaughters come and see the shows every once in a while, especially if it's a children's show. But Nova, who is 7, she came to the last few without her sister with her and sat with my wife. And she kept pointing out to my wife that, wow, every time we come, it's the exact same place. But it looks so different. And she's referring to the set. I want to see my granddaughter come again to this one and look at this set and say, wow, this one's even more different than the last one was. Because the set does look good.
And I'm very excited about this set because it is completely different than the last one I was in, and it is going to change slightly, unlike the last one I was in, which was great. But there's a lot of costume changes and a lot of set changes that are happening, and it's just going to be a fast-paced play back there for us, especially.
It may be a record for the amount of under 1 to 2 minute costume changes.
Do you sort of wear your clothes in layers, so you just strip off one layer?
We're still figuring that part out.
We are women, and we know how to shuck it off and put it right back on.
It's going to have to be coordinated just like the blocking of a scene. I mean, timing and who's going to stand where and who's going to be ready to drop a dress and pick up something else. I mean, there's going to be just as much activity, probably twice as much activity backstage as there is on stage. It's going to be mayhem.
One thing for sure, I will not be in the way. I'll be up here in the tech booth running the sound.
Can I ask you, Darv, from your perspective, and ladies do chime in, not that I need to tell you that, you're not being backward about being forward, how are you finding the theatre now that it's yours? As you always look at things differently when it's yours rather than renting, and particularly for what seems like a more demanding production such as this one, are your resources rising for the challenge?
Absolutely. We have some limitations, of course, and there are challenges still, but I was involved when cast. I think a few of us were involved when cast was the traveling troupe, and we borrowed stages here and there, and we traveled, carried all of our tech equipment with us. So just being here makes it so much easier as far as that is concerned. So because of that, we are trying to grow, and we're trying to make every production a little bit better than the last one. So therein lies a new challenge, because we're doing Little Shop of Horrors for the summer production, and that's a huge set, and how we're going to squeeze it into this small spot, I don't know yet. But it's a challenge that I'm willing to do.
I do want to say, my first play, I believe I was with Darv. He wasn't directing, and it was at the service center, and I think then we did one that was at the Days Inn or some such, and every single person who comes to see the play, whether you're a patron or not, and then of course the patrons and the board members and everyone who puts their time, have given us this incredible opportunity to where now, whether it's been a month since I've done a play or 2 years, every time I step into this building and back into that black room, it feels like home. And that really adds so much to any production.
Well, I think both Darv and I are wise enough to now allow you ladies the last word. Is there some final closing thoughts you'd like to share with our listeners? Not all at once.
Got quiet all of a sudden.
I'm just so happy to have this opportunity. I really am. This is an organization I've wanted to be involved in since moving down here in 22. And I have a lot of friends that have already been involved. They're on the board. I feel honored to be part of this cast. I feel excited that my first experience is with Darv. He's such a good, thorough, calm, patient director. And I thanks for the opportunity.
And I'm just really thankful that I get to do something, or at least have the opportunity to do something again that I really loved doing before life, happens. And so it's nice to get to step back and relive that kind of fun and escape and challenge. And it's just been a real blessing and a real awesome opportunity to get to do. So I'm excited.
Yeah, every time, whenever I decide to do a play, I'm so nervous about fitting it into life. I'm sure, with everyone. And I'm never sure if I made the right decision to dedicate the time to it. And, luckily my boys that are still at home, they're so patient. And I'm never sure. And then every day, when I'm leaving the theater, and I feel amazing. It's not just being in theater, but it's also having a great director like Darv and having these great ladies as castmates. And then, of course, having a play that we really love.
I guess, Jenny, you are going to be the last person to comment.
Well, I can't say anything different than the ladies have already said. We love being able to do community theater and having a theater right here in Bay City that we can just drive down the road and be in these shows and see other people be in these shows and bring our kids to see these shows and know that when they grow up, they're going to be able to participate in this kind of stuff too. I just think it's awesome. Bay City is really, really lucky to have Cast.
What a great closing note. Would you agree, Dave?
Absolutely.
And now it's the man who said the last word.
I always agree with him.
So we have been talking with the 4 ladies who are starring in Cast's upcoming production of the Savannah Sipping Society, which will be having 6 performances, Friday through Sunday, the 8th to 10th of March, then again Thursday through Saturday, the 14th to the 16th of March. And it's another one of the series of Jones, Hope, Wooten, 3 writers, Southern-style comedies, although this one, I'm told, has an uplifting, moving sort of undertone to it as well. Thank you, ladies, and thank you, of course, Darv Smith.